You can see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
okay, that's fine. So this is our Nibosh IG. Before starting, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Irfan. I am your trainer from Nibosh. You can say I am Nibosh approved trainer, and more than 13 years I am in the field of health and safety. So I am approved trainer. I am based in Middle East, and we will start our class by Zoom link. Every day we have session, and I will try to cover everything relating to the course for your exam and for your learning process as well. So the course is designed in English language. The exam will be in the English as well. So try to understand if anybody have any problem in understanding or anybody need to clear a point specifically during the session. You can ask me anytime, one time, two time, even 10 times. You have the right to ask. You have the right to clear every doubt which you are facing during the course material. And the book is already shared with you guys. So the open book exam, relating to the exam, people are and especially the students, they are thinking that it's very easy and clear because it's open book exam, you will get 24 hours, but it's not easy. You need to understand the logic of health and safety, you need to understand the fundamentals and the concepts, then only you can write the exam. Otherwise writing the exam is not an easy job, guys. So don't take it too easy. It's really hard, and then the examination process, any type of plagiarism, if you copy from others, it will not be hidden from Nibosh. They will catch it, and you need to. There must be something, yani you can say some ban on you. And just wait, let me share the Zoom link with the student. I don't know, maybe they are new. And if anybody can't hear me, you can raise hand, you can unmute your mic, and then you can talk on that. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
And the course will be recorded. A recorded video will be available for you guys for better understanding. You want to revise it, you want to watch it again, you can. You have the facility. Okay. Now about our Nibosh IGC. This is a level 3 certification, international examination and international certificate. This is for occupational health and safety. And the course is consists on two type of subject, two options. The one is your exam, and the second is your report, which is IG2. IG1 is an exam which is 24 hours open exam. You will get a scenario from Nibosh, you will get an email in your personal email, and then you have to write the answer accordingly. The answer have a limit of 3000 to 3500 words. You will get all the details and the guidance from Nibosh in the email, and then after that you have to go through an interview. So we will conduct your interview, that will be from your exam, from your answer sheet, and in addition to that you have to prepare a report, same like a risk assessment, a practical risk assessment. Then when you complete all these three steps, you will get a certificate. If you pass in all three, you will get a certificate. If you fail in interview, if you fail in report, if you fail in exam, you will not get the certificate from Nibosh. That is something for exam. So we will continue. Just let me check if someone want to join more in Zoom. Okay. And guys, just check if someone waiting in the waiting room. You can tell me, okay? So I will add them. Sometimes I didn't notice that there is someone waiting in the waiting room. So there is no one in the waiting room for now. So let's we start our session. Okay, guys, here we are. We have management of international health and safety, element one, foundation in health and safety. Let me explain to you what is health and safety. What is safety? Safety means occupational safety. We mostly concerned about occupational health and safety here. The safety of employees, the safety of assets, the safety of environment, the safety of the visitors, the nearest people, the nearest community, safety of existing utilities, all is covered in occupational health and safety. Okay, here we have element one, foundation in health and safety. So what are the learning outcomes in this one? In this element, on completion of this element, you should be able to demonstrate understanding of the content through the application of knowledge to familiar and unfamiliar situations. In particular, you should be able to outline the scope and nature of occupational health and safety, explain the moral, social, and economic responsibilities or economic reasons for maintaining good and promoting good standards of health and safety at workplace, explain the role of national governments and international bodies in formulating a framework for the regulation of health and safety. These are the three main points which you learn and which you will be able to understand after completing this session. Okay, so let's this is here our scope and nature of health and safety. Health and safety is multidisciplinary, and we will learn barrier to good standards, and we will go through the definitions. Like what is multidisciplinary? Health and safety practitioners need to be familiar with, because we cannot stay only on one topic. We need to have basic knowledge of chemistry, physics, biology, like other sciences, and engineering, psychology, sociology, legislations, standards which apply, and the strength and weakness of options. So that's why it's called as multidisciplinary. That safety is a multi disciplinary job. It's not only one discipline. We have to engage the other factors, the other branches of knowledge in our studies. And so that's why it's multidisciplinary. And barriers to good standards. Why the good standards are not being adopted in the organizations? Why organizations showing poor commitment with health and safety? Yeah, here are the points why there are barriers to good standards. Complexity of the workplace. Maybe the workplace is very complex, congested, a lot of work, a lot of operation, all activities going on in the same times. People don't have adequate space to work, adequate freedom to work, adequate environment or a good environment they don't have. That is a complexity of the workplace. Conflicting of demands. Yani conflicting of demands means the work required 10 days to be completed, but the management or the employer or the organization, they want the employees to do in 5 days. Like they don't have time scale, they don't have appropriate standard, and they don't have adequate budget for health and safety. These are the barriers for good standard. And the behavioral issue also, the people, they are thinking that they are already well aware about the workplace, they are well aware about the safety, and then the accidents happened by their poor perception, by their poor ideas, or by their overconfidence behavior. Accidents happens. These are the barriers to good standards in the organizations. And next we have, and guys, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So now we have definitions. This is an important part. This will help you in your professional life when you go for an interview, in your exam, and also in organizations when you start your working. What is health? Absence of disease or ill health. When there is no absence, when there is no disease, or the people are not in ill health situation, means that is a condition of health. What is safety? Safety is absence of risk of serious personal injury. And if there is no risk, which can cause any harm or which can cause any problem to the humans, to the whole project, environment, assets, then it's a condition of safety. Absence of risk is safety. Welfare, access to basic facilities. What are the basic facilities? Drinking water station, appropriate drinking water, eating room, mess hall, changing room, sitting room, rest area, washrooms. These are counted as basic welfare facilities. The employees must have access on workplace up to these facilities. So here we have definitions. Next point is environment protection, prevention of damage to air, land, water, and living organism. Yeah, when we protect the environment, the land, air, all these things, water, sand, we need to protect these. All are counted as environment, and being a safety professional, we have to protect the environment in our workplace. Some students have difficulty with some other laws. Yes, that is another option. This is usually when an organization suffers loss because of an incident involving another organization. For example, where petrochemical plants maybe experience accident vapor release. Yeah, see, sometimes happen. One organization is working and they are releasing hazardous gases which are polluting your work environment also. That is happening, and there are already standards in every country, in every organizations, and with every client there are standards to maintain the environment. So this is only a basic definitions which are important as well. So here we have a group activity. Why might the management of an organization not consider health and safety to be priority? This is a question. Why they are not considering? There are many reasons, multiple reasons. The poor commitment, ignorance of legal duties. Maybe they are not aware what is their legal duty. It's their legal duty to ensure the good health and safety standards at workplace. If they are not aware, they will ignore. They cannot perform well. If they have lack of care for staff welfare, if they are not caring about their employees, like if they are not counting the employees as assets, they just want them to work and only work, and they are not willing to spend any money for their welfare. If they focus only output, if they focus only profit, if they don't have adequate resources, and they don't have a competent HSE professional, that is also a main reason. If they don't have an HSE professional, no one can guide them how to provide the welfare facilities or how to go for good health and safety standards in the organization. Then they just ignore everything. So group syndicate exercise answers. What are the answers? Key points: competent and competes with other business aims, like they just work for the other business aim. Production. They'll have lack of resources. They want to save the cost, and they are thinking that safety is only a cost and no profit. They are ignorance from the legal duties and ignorance of the hazards. They are not aware about the hazards on the workplace which can harm the people, which can kill someone, which can let someone suffer in chronic or acute diseases. They just ignore that. These are the reasons why a company or an organization or an employer cannot perform well in health and safety. These are the we already read about barriers to good standards. These are the barriers to good standards. So here we have question: what barriers might there to good health and safety practice? Define the term health, safety, and welfare. We have already. So guys, you need to write down in your notebook, and you can share with me in WhatsApp group or in personal messages. It's up to you. But this is a question you need to write. Once you write, you will memorize it. You will get the idea, you will get the logic behind these four terms. Three terms are health, safety, and welfare, and the fourth is barrier to good standards. We already go through this one. Anybody cannot understand or anybody have an issue with this? Just guys, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So it's understanding. So you
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
okay? Anybody have any problem? Don't hesitate. Just speak up. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Understand.
Okay, that's good. Actually, I'm speaking fast, but I'm controlling my pace, I'm controlling my speed so that it can be delivered properly. Let's we start element 1.2, reasons for maintaining health and promoting good standards of health and safety. This is very important question, and mostly in every session this question coming in the exam. Reasons of maintaining good health and safety. We have three basic reasons: moral, legal, and financial or economic reasons. You can just pronounce, can say it MLF, moral, legal, financial, or moral, legal, and economic reasons. This is a very, very important question as per exam point of view and as per your work performance. Once you go in the field, once you go in the operations, you have to contact with these three reasons mostly. Okay, here we have a problem. The size of the problem. Global statistics from an international labor organization, ILO, Safe Work Program, they stated that 270 million accidents and 160 million diseases a year due to work. See guys, how big problem is. 270 million accidents happening in every year because of work related, because of occupational health and safety issues. 2 million fatalities a year. 2 million people are being are dead because of workplace accidents. 4% of global GDP is lost. A big loss to the economy, big loss to the humans. 2 million is a very big loss. On-job fatalities each year, 355,000. Just guys check the numbers. How big amount? In any war, in any disease, people are not dying up to such a ratio. It's only happening in the COVID, when COVID came mostly in Italy, China, America countries. It caused a lot of death cases, but now it's calmed down. That was a short period, but because of occupational health and safety accidents, the more reason of the frequent death, the more than any war. In any war, people are not dying like that. How they die in occupational related accidents. So this is very important moral, legal and financial reasons for maintaining the health and safety. Here we have an example. An employee at your workplace has been seriously injured in a workplace accident. In group as indicated by the tutor, list the possible effect and implications of the accident on the injured employee. Yeah, okay, who is responsible in the organization? Employee, company and line manager, or what are the responsibilities gone to them? This we will go through later. First we will discuss this one, moral, legal and financial reasons for maintaining health and safety. Okay guys, this will be interesting and very important. Let's start from the moral. What are the moral reasons? We are humans. We are living in a society. We are living in a world where we are every day meeting and greeting the people on our workplace, while we are traveling, when we are going to home, when we are going to office. We have contact with the people. We are created by God, and this is a prime responsibility of every human that he must save himself. He must take care of himself and he must save the others. That is a moral responsibility. And that is a moral responsibility and a moral duty as well. Being a Muslim, it's more implemented on us to save ourselves and to save the others. That is a moral responsibility which implemented on everyone, from employer, organization, employees. Even you are not working anywhere, still you are responsible, still you have a reason to work for safety. This safety is very simple. It's simple like ABC. How it is simple? You are going somewhere, you find that the excavation or any area or any manhole or any digged area is kept open. You just ask or you just call the responsible persons, please put the barriers here, or if you are in the organization and authorized to do that, just put the barriers, put the signage, whatever the resources are available, utilize all of them to save the humans. Saving humanity is a really, really great job. That is also a moral reason to work for safety. But when we talk about the business, when we talk about the organizations and workplace, the employer, it's the moral responsibility of the employer as well. The employer have the moral responsibility to ensure the safety of workplace. He must ensure that the workplace is safe, the basic welfare facilities are available, the safe work procedures are available. These are the moral. And then legal or social. So legal is very important. That is a term which is indicating the legal requirements. Like in any organization there is in the country, and international standard organizations like ISO, international labor organizations, they set some standards and regulations that every organization have to follow these standards for health and safety. For example, they set a standard that for each 50 employees need to have one first aider. That is a legal responsibility, and sometimes they just audit the workplace, they inspect the workplace, and they find that the set standards, like they set a standard that after 1.2 meters of the excavation depth you need to provide hard barrier, you need to provide benching, sloping, or some sort of protection. If they visit the site and they found that protection or the safety measures are not being taken, they have a right to fine the organization, they have the right to punishment, they can cancel the license, they can issue a warning letter, like whatever the contractual requirements and the contractual arrangements, they can take any action against the organizations that is illegal, which you are forced to do that by law. That is the legal reason of maintaining health and safety at the workplace. Okay, now we will talk about the financial reasons or economic reasons of health and safety. Guys, just hold on. Okay, sorry. So, what are the financial reasons? When an organization work as per the safety standards, according to the safety standards, then they can save themselves from accidents. And once an organization save accident, he save a lot insurance payments, because once an accident happened they have to pay the insurance claims, they have to pay the investigation charges, investigation fee, investigation payments, compensation to the person, compensation to the victim. If a person die, then they need to pay the blood money, and the reputation of the organization will go down. They need to hire new persons, then they will spend time to train the new persons, because the new persons, the new employees, they are not aware about the work, they are not much experienced. So all these expenses are being faced if an organization have an accident at workplace. So this is a financial reason. Like financially it's also very important economically to implement health and safety standards, so that they can save the organization from accidents. Once they save from accidents, they have the they save a lot of money as well. So these are the three reasons. Just go through and read it very carefully. A person fall, okay, what happened then? Injured employee, what he suffer with pain, lost time, he will his salary may be deducted, impact on family, family need to suffer also, they did take him hospital, everything. Yeah, maybe he get fracture, or he get sick, he get one hand injured, or he lost one hand at all, then all these problems the family have to suffer. The company, they need to pay the sick payment, they need to pay the overtime cover, because they will hire another employee, or they will ask the other employees, they will lose their time, they can be late in their orders. Like the person is producing, suppose, plastic drums, when the person get sick or get injured, so he went to the hospital and the machine is just vacant, so nobody is there to operate the machine, so the order cannot be maintained on the time, they cannot achieve the target, they can achieve their goals, and insurance payment will be increased, and the reputation. If the people hear that okay, there is a company Y and X, in company Y every week there is an incident, so the people will prefer company X, they will start leaving their job from company Y, and they will try to join the company X, because they feel there is a safety. Like a bad reputation they will suffer. The line manager, why it happened, maybe the line manager don't have the adequate skills, maybe he's not competent for that job, maybe he need to be retired, and maybe the organization or the authorities take action and they kick him off from the project. Maybe they declare that this person is not competent to do the job and bring a new one. In that case, a long story will go. So these are some examples of an incident which if happens on the workplace and someone get injured, so things can go up to that. Okay, here the legal and social expectations, international standard from the International Labour Organization. ILO. This is a very important and key point in our whole IG course. Just I'm going to explain something in coming slides. Just keep it in your mind. ILO. What is ILO? What is the requirements? What it define and who is accountable in ILO? ILO is a standard, is an international legal organization, International Labour Organization, a country's own health and safety standard. Okay, the first thing, every organization have to follow the ILO, International Labour Organization standards, and they have to follow the country's own. Like here, I am in UAE. In UAE, they have OSHAD, Occupational Health and Safety System Framework. The organizations are bound to follow the instructions of OSHAD. So these are different type of standards. In different countries, there are different. Like in Saudi Arabia, there is Aramco. In UK, in USA, there is OSHAD. They have their own standards. So every organization where they are working, they have to follow the local standards and the international standards as well. Who is responsible for health and safety? Everybody. But most of the responsibility lies with the employer to provide. What are the responsibilities of employer? Employer means the owner, the organization. They have to provide safe place of work. Safe place of work means a workplace which is safe from the hazards, which is safe from the risk, and people feel safe working there. They have safe access, safe egress, signages are available, safe equipments are available, safe plant and equipment to provide to the workers. This is the responsibility of the organization. Safe system of work, like how to complete the task, how to complete the job. They must give an adequate training to the employees. That is known as safe system of work. Training, supervision and competency of the staff. This is the responsibility of the employer to ensure that the staff is competent and adequate supervision on the work is available. So now we have business case. Accident and ill health cost money. Cost may be direct and indirect. There we have two type of cost. The one is direct and the second is indirect. Direct are measurable cost arising directly from accident. Like an accident happened, an asset, suppose a plant and equipment get damaged. So what is the cost of maintenance or replacing? That is a direct cost. And what is the indirect cost? The indirect cost, maybe you need to go for incident investigation, maybe you need to bring another machine, the operations, the delay in the work, the procedures, the insurance, the authority, maybe authority fine you because of some non-compliances. These all are the indirect costs, arise as consequence of the event but may not directly involve money, often difficult to quantify. Yeah. Here also the bad reputation, the loss of clients. Maybe there is accidents, and because of the rapid accidents, many clients they leave they stop working with an organization, that this organization is not well and it's not aware about health and safety standards, and accidents are being happening on their workplace. So we are not going to work with these organizations. That is also a loss, and that is counted as indirect loss, indirect cost. Health and safety failure can affect the broader economy as well as individual companies. Yes, it affects the economy as a whole and individuals as well. So here we have a group discussion. An employee has been injured at work. Identify potential direct cost of accident, indirect cost of accident. So here we have direct cost: first aid treatment, sick payment, loss of production time. He cannot produce anything because he got injured. He need first aid as a cost. He needs sick payment. The days he stay in the house, the company have to pay. And loss of production time, fines and compensation, fine from the legal authorities, local authorities, international authorities, and compensation payment. Maybe they need to pay to the family of the person. Maybe he die. They need to pay the blood money. That will be a big amount. And indirect cost, lost time of investigation. They need to spend time in investigation, and the morale of the employees will go down. They will feel unsafe on the workplace. Cost of recruitment, they need to hire a new person. Then the recruitment cost, then lost reputation. That is also a reason, a type of indirect cost. Because in indirect cost, they need to, like for example, they need to face the court. They need to go to the court and criminal acts. They need to pay compensation to the victim, which is likely to be met by insurance cover, and will therefore result in increase in insurance payments. first aid payments, workplace, yeah, like many things are involved in the cost, especially in the indirect cost. And the cost of accident at work. There are two types. One is insured, one is insured and one is uninsured. What is insured? The fire, work injury, death, medical cost. These are the insurance which an organization is taking on the start of the program, and when they hire an employee, they make insurance for him. So insurance covers some areas, but some areas are not covered in insurance. So organizations have to pay for that, like the loss of raw material due to accident, sick payment, overtime, equipment repair, loss of materials. All these costs the organization have to bear by himself. So this is also a financial reason of implementing health and safety. What are the three main reasons? Moral, legal, and financial. What are the employees? Responsibilities of employees: safe place of work, safe plant and equipment, safe system of work, training, supervision, and competency of the staff. This is the main responsibility of the employer. And guys, we will start the session again because it's going to expire in a minute. So but we have not yet finished